Morning, everybody. This is Canada's Renegade coming at you here on this Sunday morning. Just wanted to make a video here, talk about a few of the things that are going on in the news. Excuse me. So, it's now November, and boy, has there been some surprises on the internet. You know, WikiLeaks just keeps dumping emails out there. The FBI reopening the investigation. They found stuff on Anthony Weiner's server. You know, this is going to get a lot worse. John Podesta, what a dirty little bastard you are. Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised. But, wow. Like, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The media keeps pushing this, that basically Hillary Clinton's got this in the bag. You know what? I don't believe anything the mainstream media says anymore. I just don't. They're full of shit. They've been caught on so many occasions lying or pushing a false narrative. You know, nobody knows how this is going to turn out. I find it funny, though, when they'll sit there and say something like Donald Trump's down by 12 points and Hillary Clinton's going to win in a landslide. Yet all you have to do is just follow the rallies of both candidates. Donald Trump will have, 15, 20,000 people show up at his, and those are the people that are on the inside. Hundreds, if not thousands, on the outside. They couldn't get a ticket to get in. Hillary Clinton can't even fill up a high school gymnasium, so I don't understand where they get this idea that it's going to be a landslide victory for Hillary Clinton. And honestly, her campaign is on fire. I can't even keep track of all the scandals that are going on now. But I mean, it's just getting worse. Pay for play. Now they're getting into this whole pedophilia thing. Huma Abedin, where's she? She's just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. And the thing about the internet is that there's a lot of satire websites out there too. So it's hard to know what's true and what isn't. So I'm not going to sit here and say I know anything, because I don't. I just can't believe that this woman is still running for president. I mean, any self-respecting American would have stepped down. I know there's a lot of money that gets involved in these presidential elections. It gets into the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. But, I just can't believe the fact that she's still running. What a disgrace. And then Donald Trump, they keep coming out with all these women saying that he, groped them or raped them or whatever inappropriately. And I got to hand it to him, man. He's playing this rope-a-dope game, kind of like Muhammad Ali back in the day, playing the rope-a-dope. You're going to push him up on the ropes, punch him. He's wearing you out, man. Keep punching. And when I find my opening, I'm going to come out and punch back. That's exactly what Donald Trump has done. Clinton played right into his hand, because every time she attacks him personally this way, he has this way of just debunking the argument with facts. Even this case where the woman said she was molested when she was 13, she withdrew the case from the court, the lawsuit. You didn't see that on mainstream media, though, did you? He's just debunking it all. And it's funny, like the mainstream media is so quick to just trash his name, trash his family, trash his wife, and then when he debunks it and shows that it's not true, or, really brings credibility of these so-called victims to the forefront, because a lot of them are, it's just ridiculous. The media just doesn't want to even go there. Again, I'm going to go back to this John Podesta thing. Wow. Him and his brother have been big money movers and policy players in Washington really since the 70s. He really is the dirty lobbyist in D.C. that makes shit happen. And, he's been deeply entrenched in Bill Clinton's presidency, Barack Obama's presidency. And, if Hillary Clinton gets in, it's like America's just going to sell their soul to corporatism. And you know what? Capitalism and corporatism are two different things. And I think that's something that a lot of liberals don't understand. Corporatism is not capitalism. Capitalism, in my opinion, is Main Street America. I've done a few road trips across America, and the one thing that always amazed me, it didn't matter what state I was in, whether it's in the West Coast, the East Coast, down south, whatever, you get off the interstate highway, and you see these huge box stores and huge chain restaurants, right? But when you drive a little further down the road and into Main Street America, 3/4 of the stores in Main Street America are empty. There's just for lease signs everywhere. Small business has been totally killed in this country. And, these big box stores, they import their shit from overseas and they sell it at dirt cheap prices. And, corporatism hasn't been good for America. I mean, Bill Clinton was one of those presidents that pushed hard for China to become part of the World Trade Organization back in the early 90s. Since that happened, over 60,000 American factories have closed for good. All those manufacturing jobs picked up and moved overseas. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before in some of my other videos, but it's not good. The salary base is shrinking in America. It used to be a strong middle class that made good wages. And, I don't really care whether you're a liberal or a conservative, a libertarian. Anybody with their eyes wide fucking open can see that the quality of life in North America is dropping. The wages are not matching the cost of living. And taxes are going up. I'm sorry, but when you have a manufacturing plant that employs, 500 to 14,000 people, depending on the size of it, and all those people are making 65 grand a year and up, and that factory closes and now these people are working as door greeters at Walmart, well, that's just not the same thing, is it? As a smaller salary for the government to tax. And it's funny, you got a company like Walmart that makes billions and billions of dollars, yet they still literally receive corporate subsidies from the government. That's government welfare for corporations. So many of their people that work there, even if they do work full-time, are still on food stamps. It's a disgrace, really. These corporations get away with murder. That's partly also why I'm so much against this Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. I'm not a reporter. I'm not going to say I've delved into this and done all kinds of investigating in that. I mean, I'm a fucking pipe fitter, right? I mean, I'm out there in the tools 12, 14 hours a day. I don't have time to go through all this. I'm busy like everyone else. I turn my wrenches, I make my money, I raise my children, I try to take care of my house, pay the bills, whatever. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but I've read somewhere, I can't quite recall, it's been a while, that they were saying that corporations will actually be able to bring governments to court and sue them for loss of projected profits due to bureaucracy or whatever. Like if the government's getting in the way. And I just thought to myself, man, what a sweet deal for you bastards. So you guys can make a corporate sales projection. If for some reason some government was to step in and say you can't do this because it's against our environmental policy or against our labor laws or whatever, you can now take that government to court and sue the government. So basically the taxpayer is still going to make sure that you get your money. But us, while we go to work and pay our taxes, we're the one that gets fucked. And we have to pay this. That's absolutely ridiculous. Why would any fucking country ever want to sign this deal? Yet, they've all done it. America signed it. Everybody in the Pacific Rim signed it. Even here in Canada. Up here in Canada, they were talking about our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. He's decided he's going to invest Canadian money into the AIIB, Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank. And, a lot of Canadians are shaking their heads going, this is, he doesn't care about Canada. It amazes me, though, how many people don't know about the AIIB. It's basically like China's version of the IMF. And, it's basically a reinvestment of hundreds of billions of dollars into reinventing the Silk Road. So deep sea ports all around the Pacific Rim, free and open trade between all these countries. They call it free trade, right? Which may sound to someone who doesn't quite understand, but, like, for example, Canada and the United States have free trade. But it's not free trade for citizens. It's free trade for corporations. There's a difference. See, I'm a dual citizen. I don't need a passport to go into Canada or the United States. I can go across the border at will whenever I want to. But for a Canadian, for example, who is going to go to Buffalo, New York just for the day, go to the Galleria shopping center down there, spend some money, buy himself a carton of Marlboros, and come back north to the Canadian border to go be back home for dinner. When they search his car, they're going to see that carton of smokes and they're going to charge him like $30 taxes, tariffs for bringing that across the border. So that's not free trade. It's free trade for Walmart. It's free trade for Budweiser. It's free trade for energy and oil companies. It's free trade for manufacturers that make products and they send them across the border for free. But not free trade for citizens. I don't see anything free in it at all. I don't know, man. Like, I'm no politician, but I just look at how things are going these days, and I'm worried. You got the Democrats pounding the war. They just seem to want to be fighting these endless wars in Syria or in Ukraine or against Russia. And, these corporations are basically fucking us. They're challenging national sovereignty is what they're doing. And the politicians that basically are bought and paid for by them are allowing them to do it. I wonder how many more people's lives are going to be ruined by these companies. And by their own government. The government that's supposed to serve them is the one that's actually betraying them. So, it doesn't really matter what happens on November 8th. November 8th, that's the election. That's the dog and pony show that the elites let, everybody take part in. But when it's all over, I urge any American or Canadian, whoever, that actually gives a fuck about their country and actually gives a shit about politics to keep watching the news. Keep reading what's happening. Because sometimes, they have a circus every 4 years. Doesn't mean that that's important. What's important is what happens after. I honestly think a lot of this stuff where Hillary Clinton sending these people down to these rallies to stir trouble. I mean, this is all a distraction. It really is. Keep an eye on what's going on. I really don't think, I support Donald Trump, but let's look at it for what it is, okay? Even if he wins, he's not going to be the end-all, be-all of fixing all of America's problems. America's problems are very deep, very entrenched, and there's a lot of money involved. And there's a lot of people that aren't just going to go away because Donald Trump wins. If anything, I think if he does win, he's going to face a very difficult presidency where he's going to face a lot of roadblocks, a lot of bureaucracy, and a lot of people in Washington that don't want to work with him. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, I really believe that if she wins, America might as well change its flag from the stars and stripes to a dude bending over, spreading his ass cheek while corporate America sticks its, you-know-what up its keister. I mean, this woman has no soul. None whatsoever. I don't see how she can win now, but that's just my personal feeling. I mean, who knows? I've heard somewhere that they say that presidents are selected, not elected. Anyway, what can I say? I just wanted to make this video here on a Sunday. Say hello to the Rocky Mountain Renegade Nation. Thanksgiving's coming up, so I want everybody to also think about that. That's a time where, you're supposed to be sitting down with your family, having your turkey, and being thankful for this country, and being thankful for the first settlers that came here. And it's become this whole, cesspool of shit where now it's just, people are running into Walmart and they're getting into fistfights over a TV that's on sale. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. You know what, man? Be thankful for where you live. Be thankful for the nation that America is. Be thankful for the fact that you can sit at this table, regardless of all the buttfuckery that's going on online or in the news or whatever. We live in a nation where there are jobs. There is peace. Look at, you can imagine yourself being a Syrian in a place like Aleppo. Be thankful for where you are. America really is a great country, with a beautiful history. Not all of it's been good. Not all of it's been bad either. America's done a lot of good in the world. No country is perfect. But I just want everybody to be thankful of, where they live. Be thankful for what America stood for, what it still should be standing for. I think, if anything, this election has proved that it still believes in a lot of its core principles and identity. Anyway, what can I say? Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. It's coming up in 3 weeks or so. Keep your eyes on the election. What can I say? Keep your pecker hard and your powder dry. The world will turn. Watch your six and take care of yourselves. Canada's Renegade, out.